I remember a very profound moment. And at that point I didn't know what effect it would have. I had a very close aunt who I used to stay with every now and then, who died suddenly. I was 16, I think. And I remember being sad. And people were speaking about the death, and it was quite noisy but muffled. And I didn't know what was going on, you see. I obviously knew about death. I'd been told about it at school, read it in books, all that usual learned stuff, passed down useless information. And my father, who was also very close to my aunt, and I were sitting in the living room. Television was on, but none of us was watching it. Everyone else was out. Younger brothers playing, mother planning for the funeral. And my father didn't speak much. In fact, I very rarely remember him ever speaking. And he seemed so sad. Both of us pretending to watch the TV, and I asked him a question. I don't know where the question came from, but I asked him this question, thinking he would give me the usual answer. And I said, "Where is Aunt Betty gone? What has happened to her? Where do people go when they die?" And his answer was the best answer that you could ever give anyone. He said, quite simply, as he looked to the ground, "I don't know, son. I simply don't know." You see, we go through this life with past information, expectations, which creates fear, worry, concern. But the fact is, no one knows. What we all know in our deep self, providing no one gives you information about heaven and paradise and sleep. If you ignore all this, your deep knowing is that you don't know. But this not knowing is continuous, you see, because there is no end. No one has experienced ending. And even if this heaven was true, it's an ongoing, you see. You're just making a transition from this body to maybe a subtle body or another body in paradise, in heaven. And when paradise goes, something else. And when something else goes, something else. So it's impossible to know. And the question that I was not asking was, where is my Auntie Betty going? The question actually was, has she gone? Is she, as everyone said, no more? Dead? But simply death does not exist. Death is not what we have been told. It is simply a movement. Everything is movement. And this movement does not stop. But the one who is witnessing this, the one who is asking the question, the one who is answering the question, the one that is inquiring about what happens to their body, where it goes, where the one inside goes nowhere, you see. The one that asks the question is this stable source. Collectively, we are this source, looking outward through consciousness, as consciousness. And in this mist of consciousness, there is good and bad. But the fact is, it's infinite. Consciousness has no ending. If ending was to come, then whole of consciousness would have to end. This means whole of life gone. Whole of universe, planets, whole of everything. Galaxies, forms. This thought disappears, you see. This thought-based world disappears. But even then, ending does not come, because you remain with no consciousness as this towering Atman, this towering source. There was no darkness there. There was no mind, no forms, no formlessness, no light. Just this beyond. And this beyond in its totality is the mystery, is the truth, which no single human being will ever experience or understand. You may experience looking at yourself within this tower, but you cannot look at the whole tower. You cannot look at what is not there, what is not feasible for eyes, body and mind to simply digest. So you remain as this tower. This tower of nothing. And simply exist. Not in time, nor in timelessness. Just in this place, this essence of love. There is no heaven there, no paradise. Everything collectively that shone from it through consciousness is it. And God spoke the word to Moses, I am that. I am. I am this tower, reflecting as I am. I am that. I am. No ending.